Hi, my name is Glenn Fink, and I'm going to talk to you this time about, is there a science of the immaterial? Happy 4th of July. You can probably hear some of the firecrackers going out back there, but you can't see them. But you know they're there. How do you know that something you can't see is there? Well, we can perceive it through natural information. But today I'm going to talk to you about how we go about seeing things that are very difficult to see, or perhaps even impossible to see. Last time on this channel, we talked about how science is like a shovel. You can use it to dig for truth, but it is not itself the truth. And the Bible is not in competition with the science. In fact, the Bible is a data source that science would do well to take into consideration. So, I'll ask you to look at that video if you're interested. This time, though, we're going to talk about how to quantify unseen and immaterial things. For instance, can we say that immaterial things which are not extended in space, actually have existence? Well, anybody who has emotions can tell you that you cannot weigh out a pound of emotions. Individual identity. How do you know that this collection of some 100 billion cells that sits in this chair is actually just one person? Numbers. If I write the number 2 on my whiteboard, it does not disappear when I erase it. It's still the number 2. It's out there. It's immaterial. Logic is another great example. The rules of logic exist whether or not you wish to believe that they do exist, and they could not have arisen from non-material things. So we use our experience and our existing knowledge of the world to reason about unseen things, immaterial things. Science can never tell us about anything that we cannot observe and to some degree quantify. But there are some things that are very, very difficult to observe, and we can learn how to quantify them through our experience with other things. Great example is black holes. When I was a kid, I used to study black holes all the time. I thought they were the neatest thing ever. People have been suspecting black holes exist for nearly 100 years, but it wasn't until 2019 that a group of hundreds of scientists from over 104 organizations called the Event Horizon Telescope put together pictures of the black hole. Not really pictures, they're kind of just amalgams, they're visualizations of bunches of different data that shows what the black hole inside of Messier 87 galaxy looks like. Now, if you look at the pictures, they don't look really neat. It's not like one of the pictures you'd see from a Hollywood rendering of a black hole, because if you were to look at a black hole, you wouldn't see anything. The light that comes off of it is X-rays and gamma rays, and there's probably some visible light too, but a lot of the light that gets radiated from things that fall into black holes is not even visible, so it just wouldn't look the same way as you might be thinking of it. But nevertheless, by taking a lot of observations over many decades and careful mathematical models, people came up with what a black hole looks like, and it makes sense in the rest of the universe. Another great example is information. I'm an information scientist, and information is immaterial. It is not extended in space. You can't measure off a foot of it. You can't weigh it. You can't cook it. You can't do anything with it you can do with physical objects. Information is its own thing. It is immaterial and invisible, but yet we have information science. Here's a good example of information. So if you have a penny in your pocket and I steal that penny, then I have the penny and you do not have the penny any longer. But if you have a Bitcoin in your Bitcoin wallet and I steal the Bitcoin from your wallet, you still have it, but so do I. It's information. So it isn't just existing in one place at one time. Information is totally separate from how it's instantiated in the universe, what it's made out of. The number 2 that I wrote on the board is not just the ink, it's the concept of 2 that's behind it. So even though information is invisible and not extended in space, we still reason with it. In fact, even our reason is invisible and not extended in space. It's immaterial. So immaterial things do exist, but naturalistic science is limited to the study of the natural world. However, just because naturalistic science can only study the natural world does not mean that other parts of the universe exist, the supernatural, if you will, or just maybe even the subnatural, who knows. Things that are totally invisible to our way of thinking and reasoning and observing things. So, if you are looking for the supernatural, you're not going to want to use the methods of natural science to find it. That's like losing your car keys somewhere out on the lawn at night and looking in the living room because the lighting's better. You simply don't want to use naturalistic science assumptions to find supernatural answers. So the kinds of experiments that you would do with supernatural things, with non-material, immaterial things, would be totally different from the kinds of experiments and experimental controls that you use to work in the discovery of material things. So these laws of nature, they did not arise from material things, and they're transcendental. The laws of nature are transcendental to all matter. They're transcendental to the universe. So we need a rule book to help us understand them, and we don't know where they came from or why. We need a rule book to understand the laws of the immaterial world, just like we have the natural laws that we've observed with science. The book of nature is the foundation for natural science, but the book of God's special revelation, the Bible, is the foundation for the study of the science of the Spirit. I do believe there can be a science of the Spirit, and next time I'd like to talk with you about what the science of the Spirit might look like, in fact, what Spirit is and how it works. So next time, please join me, like and subscribe, and while you're at it, be looking for my book, The Gospel, God's Great Undoing, which is coming out in the fall of 2021. I hope you get a chance to read it. I will be putting more information forthcoming on this and in this channel. I hope you've enjoyed the broadcast today, and God bless you. Thanks.